Does Kyle Kuzma help the Milwaukee Bucks win some games this year? Let's talk about it.
Jazz Smack, your source for information and analysis about the Utah Jazz and NBA basketball. Jazz Smack is a community for passionate Utah Jazz.
I don't think it shocks anybody that both Kris Middleton and Kyle Kuzma were traded this trade near the trade deadline this season. I think those were two primary candidates to be traded, and it makes sense for both of those guys to be elsewhere. From Milwaukee's standpoint, the Milwaukee Bucks were largely derailed after winning that title because of Kris Middleton's health. He has had major health challenges the past few seasons. And for them, the Milwaukee Bucks, to have a salary cap piece, and Kris Middleton is making over $30 million per year, constantly injured and being far less productive than he was during that championship season, that's a real problem. And so his health issues alone were a major reason why the Milwaukee Bucks have struggled the past few seasons after winning that title. And obviously, then Drew Holiday got shipped off to the Celtics, where he won another title. So it's kind of messy there. And the whole Lillard thing, and now they have Doc Rivers. I mean, it's not the best of scenarios. So the question is, does Kyle Kuzma, of all people, help remedy this? And in my opinion, I don't think he does. I'm not a huge fan of Kyle Kuzma. I'm actually not a fan of all of Kyle Kuzma. I don't know him personally as a guy. I don't know what type of character he is. All I can do is look at what he does on the court. And what he does on the court, I'm not a fan. I watched him play at the University of Utah, and I thought he was an empty stats guy, given his physical talents, his athleticism, his size. He has some basketball skill to his game. That University of Utah team, he should have been a leader on that team. That team should have been better. Now, yeah, Larry Krystkowiak was the coach of that team. You can say, well, it was Larry Krystkowiak's fault, or part of it was his fault. But quite frankly, Kyle Kuzma was just an empty stats guy. That was my feeling watching him play, and that's been my opinion ever since. And then when you couple that with looking at his productivity this season, I mean, he's having the worst statistical season of his career. Let's take a look at that guy's current statistics. So as you can see, his 24-25 season, he's playing 28 minutes a game. He's shooting 42% from the field, which is a career low. He's shooting 28.1% from three. That is also a career low. He's shooting 60% from the free throw line. That too is a career low. Career low. And he's only getting 5.8 rebounds a game, which is near a career low. I mean, he had 4.5 in the 2019-20 season with LA, but he's at 5.8. So he's averaging 2.5 assists, which is a really poor number considering that he has 2.3 turnovers, so he's like a 1-to-1 assist-to-turnover guy. Not good. He's just really struggling. 15 points a game he's averaging this year. But those percentages are abysmal. For a guy who's 6'9", shooting 42% from the field, 28% from three, 60% from the free throw line, I mean, those are just bad numbers. Let's face it, those are bad numbers. Those are not winning numbers. Yeah, he's in a really bad situation in Washington. I get that. I mean, that is NBA purgatory. It's just an absolute mess. It's been a mess for a long time. The Washington Wizards have bet big on the wrong people. John Wall, no, should not have ever done that. should have never been on the roster. And then they got Bradley Beal. You can see how well that's working out for Phoenix right now. Bradley Beal is also another empty stats guy. The guy's constantly injured with this or that. He's just and now Phoenix is stuck with him. So yeah, Kyle Kuzma has been in a bad situation in Washington. This would take... Is Milwaukee going to be able to resurrect his career to where he achieves the numbers, his peak numbers of a previous year or years, or even exceed his peak numbers of previous years? I'm not sold. I'm not sold that they're going to be able to do that. And even if they do that, is he the saving piece to put them in contention once again? I don't believe it. I honestly, like I said, I don't know anything about Kyle Kuzma. He could be an awesome guy off the court, could be just a genuinely good guy. But on the court, I'm not a fan. And I don't think this is the right move for Milwaukee. I don't think that this corrects their ills. But this is a new lease on life for Kyle Kuzma. For him, I hope it works out for him. He's going to Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee is Kyle Kuzma's hometown. He was recruited to the University of Utah from Milwaukee. So he'll be going to a place that he's obviously very familiar with, friends and family there. It's a good situation for him personally. And maybe he can actually right the ship and get to a better place in terms of basketball and on-the-court productivity, being in a better place than being stuck in the mess that is Washington, the Washington Wizards. So let's look at the other side of this. So the Washington Wizards, not only do they swap Kyle Kuzma for Kris Middleton, but the Washington Wizards also get a first-round pick swap with the Milwaukee Bucks and second-round draft compensation. So, in my opinion, I think the Milwaukee Bucks, simply because of that pick swap and the second-round draft compensation, I think they won this trade. Because I would like to get Kyle Kuzma elsewhere, off my roster, especially considering how poor his numbers are this year. And he has this year and the next 2 years remaining on that a significant contract, or he's paid significant money in the 20s of millions. And getting the draft capital is the key to this deal for them. And they also bring back a high character guy for the locker room, which Washington desperately needs. A veteran guy who's a very high character guy in Kris Middleton. That can't do anything but help in the situation that Washington is in. Getting a veteran presence who has won, who's extraordinarily high character, just an all-around, from everything that's ever been said about him, just a great guy. And that helps Washington. Regardless of whether, he has a big salary number, yes, but Washington isn't even in the vicinity of competing for anything for the next year or two beyond this. So that Kris Middleton salary number, even if they can't trade it and move off of it, it'll be fine. That's okay to take on that salary considering where Washington currently is. So, like I said, I think Washington won this trade just simply because of the draft capital they received in return. And I think it's a good move for them. And I hope that this works out for Milwaukee as well, because I think that Giannis, I think he deserves better than what he's received. I think his best years are being kind of squandered just because he's not surrounded with enough players to really do some damage. Yeah, he won the one title, which is great. But these last few years, it's just been it hasn't worked out. And I think he deserves better than that. And it's kind of interesting that Milwaukee seems to have a fascination with guys who played their college basketball in the state of Utah. I mean, they have Kuzma now, who played at the University of Utah. They already had Damian Lillard on their roster, who played at Weber State. And they also previously drafted Sam Merrill, who played at Utah State. That's a lot of ties to the state of Utah in those three guys. So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts about this trade and my thoughts about Kyle Kuzma specifically, because I've seen that guy play for a lot of years, and I do not foresee this as the answer for Milwaukee's challenges. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and the next 24 hours before tomorrow's trade deadline, it's going to be interesting. We'll see what other deals come down the line, what else happens. There are obviously going to be more trades, and the second round picks seem to be, I mean, they've been included in a lot of trades. I mean, the Jazz picked up 3 more second-round picks through the trades they were involved with. There have been a lot of second-round picks change hands, and it seems to be, and I would assume that that's going to continue. There's going to be more second-round picks change hands. So anyway, we'll see if anything else major happens. Obviously, there's a bunch of rumors out there, but most of the time, those rumors that are being thrown around there, they never turn into anything. But we'll see. Bradley Beal seems like he's opposed to being traded anywhere at the current time. He just wants to stay in Phoenix. Whatever. I feel bad for Phoenix. They should have never traded to that guy. Huge mistake. And I thought that at the time, and yeah, it's just turning out to be an absolute disaster for that franchise, trading for that guy. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day, and let's continue to watch the wires and see what else happens with the NBA trades. Anybody, have a great day, everybody.